Well, good afternoon. Thanks for the interest to see us. And we will show you our work about the calligraphy models in Brazilian school, calligraphic models in Brazilian school. Sorry about my English.
No, sorry about that.
I am Sandro Fetter. I am a professor at Untitled in Porto Alegre, south of Brazil. I have a master in graphic design from ATypI in Rio de Janeiro. And also, I'm a doctorate student at the Federal University of Rio Grande do Sul State. And Edna,
I'm Edna, Cunha, Lima.
my professor advisor. She has a doctorate in communication from University Federal of Rio de Janeiro. And Guilherme, unfortunately, he don't be with us.
But he is alive.
Alive and kicking. Okay. The present study started in the Master of Graphic Design at ATypI under the guidance of Professor Cunha Lima and Edna, and is in progress in the doctorate of Federal University of Rio Grande do Sul, and now under the guidance of Professor Ayrton Catani and Edna. If the personal handwriting has to survive as individual skill, face the new technologies of writing, it seems necessary to analyze it in a new perspective. Believing that design can help the educator how to contribute in the acquisition of writing and the development of functional and legible handwriting. This research project attempts to shed lights on this issue from a synthesis of the main models of writing adopted in primary education in Brazil during the 20th century to nowadays. To this end, we study those models and analyze them in the search of relationships and commonalities between these models and pointing to future notes based on the design field and in particular on the typography, having the acquisition of writing as a backstage. Our goals: study the evolution and the development of calligraphy models that form the basis of our personal letter. And if our handwriting in general is here to the calligraphy models created in Renaissance of 16th century, what they are and how they developed to handwriting models that influence personal letter of Brazilians 21st century. Investigate how was taught to write in our country and as it stands school writing education today and what the future of the personal handwriting face the new text production technologies. Some definitions. We started with a historical perspective from the Italian Renaissance of the 16th century through the calligraphy models of the 17th to 19th centuries to the Brazilian context from early 20th century when the organization of primary school, secular, public, and free, already established allowing the production and circulation of the first writing books and educational copybooks, cartilhas in Portuguese, produced by the Brazilian educators. So now we show you the first writing models from the 16th century, based from the three Italian masters calligraphers. First is the Cursive Script from Arrighi, from La Operina, in wood blocks engraved. Next is the Taglienti, also with Cursive Script. Cursive Script, yes. Also woodblock engraved, followed by the Palatino, and followed by Chancery script from Creci. Creci, it's really important because he rejected the rigid structure from Palatino and renewed the Italian Chancelleresca, paving the way for the copperplate models and the English commercial script. Now some models from 17th and 18th century, most of them in copperplate engraved. He's from Jan van der Velde, from Rotterdam. Another Chancery script from Jan van der Velde. This is an Italian hand from Lucas Matero. Oops. This is an important Italian hand from Ambrosio Sperling, because this is a hybrid model between the Italian hand and the future English commercial hand or round hand. This is the three most important French models, Ronde, Collet, and Bâtard. And this is a running hand specimen from George Bickham, from the Universal Penman, copperplate. So we do this graphic showing the ductus evolution from 11th century to 19th century. First, the Carolingia script from 11th century, Arrighi Chancery, 16th century, Creci Chancery, Matero Italian hand, French Bâtard, and finally English round hand. So we can see the evolution and the important development of Creci to renew the Italian hand. He pointed the pen more with a more flexible and very pointed way. The pen, yes. So now we summarize the international precursors models of Brazilian writing models. First, we have in the early of 20th century, the end of 19th century and the early 20th century, the English commercial script models, the French writing models, Ronde et Collet, based, a British vertical script, and North American vertical script. Also the Spencerian script, and C.C. Lister and A.N. Palmer models, the muscular script. So now the Brazilian school writing models of 20th century. First, we collect this interesting cartilha maternal from João de Deus from Portugal. It's very important in the early beginning of Brazilian school at 20th century. And this is the script copybook from João de Deus.
Well, they had a textbook and a writing book. Desculpe. They had two books. One is the writing book, and the other one is, well, the book, really. Huh? Yes, copybook.
This is the copybook, and another is the textbook.
The textbook. So the textbook is this, and the other one is how they teach how to the calligraphic model.
It's interesting to talk about the very genuine model. It's based on the English commercial script, but it's very geometric way. It's interesting. The next is Caderno Popular Caligráfico de Godinho. It's from early 20th century, with showing us the upright script, or letra direita, based on the French round. One of the most important cartilhas of Brazil, Caligrafia Vertical, from Francisco Viana, is vertical writing. It's 110 million copies, about the 19 years. 19 years.
19 years?
Yes, from 1909, from 1997.
I must confess that I have used this one, and I'm not going to say when.
It's from analytic synthetic method. The next one is Caddy's Lair. First book is, do you want to read? In an English commercial script with metal types from analytical synthetic methods. This is a cartilha, Meu Livrinho, my little book. It's a cursive script from analytical synthetic methods also. This is one huge success from Brazilian education. It's Nova Cartilha from Mariano de Oliveira. It's about 15 years and 825 million copies. It's analytical synthetic method and vertical script model. Another Cartilha Proença with vertical script model also. This is Caderno das Crianças with vertical calligraphy, analytical synthetic methods also. This is Cartilha Moderna with the active words method. It's a palavração in Portuguese, with vertical script model based on French round.
This was the one I was taught. Also.
I don't remember it, my copybook. Don't remember.
Probably you didn't have a copybook.
No, I have, but I remember that I don't take my exercises, and I have a terrible manuscript. My letter is terrible. Well, this is another huge success, Escrita Brasileira from Orminda Marques. It's interesting because it's muscular writing, cursive, based on C.C. Lister and Palmer also. From one specific period in the primary school, the Brazilian primary school, called Escola Nova, New School.
What do you mean by muscular writing?
Palmer did a very specific method based in drills and exercise, very exhausting. Muscular, yes. Sorry about my English. Muscular, from drills and drills and drills. It's like a military method of manuscripts. Yes. Well, the next one is Cartilha do Povo, vertical writing also, in a very huge edition with 2,000 editions, 10 million copies, with eclectic methods of education.
And Bodones.
Bodones? Bodones, yes. Bodones to show the print script. And Cartilha GB2, cursive writing, based on Palmer also, eclectic methods. And the first print script copybooks we found, yes. It's a very small edition with regional reach from Rio Grande do Sul. It's my state in south of Brazil. And show the very geometric print script. And one of the most vendida? Sold, sorry. One of the most sold salad, sold. One of the most huge print of cartilha in Brazil, the Cartilha Caminho Suave, more than 40 million copies, and more than 60 years edition. The method is literacy by image. It's alphabetization by the images and vertical script also, and print script based on Arial font. And now, the last one, and from this year, Cartilha Porta Aberta. It's a vertical writing and print script based on Arial. It's adopted by the public primary school in Brazil. And the method is constructivism. So finish. Since we live in a universe governed by the technological media, in which the computer can be seen as true extension of man, what is the place of handwriting? Actually, we pretend to propose a new writing models to primary school based on a type family. If God help us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your talk. How did you go about your research? Like, where did you start? If someone would ask me to research that for Germany, I wouldn't know where to look. Where did you find the examples? How did you know that this typeface led to this later?
Well, in the very beginning, Professor Edna told me to study the three master Italian calligraphers, Arrighi, Taglienti, and Palatino. And I was already have this book from Oscar Ogg, a British guy, and I'm studying. This is a facsimile book with very little tests about it, and I'm studying a lot the three Italian masters, and at the same time I collected the specimens from English scripts, American scripts. I buy a lot of vintage books from Amazon and Alibris, and I have a lot of books about this. But I saw the Italian models and I saw the English models, but not the connection between them. So, Edna, you must study Creci. So I buy another facsimile from Creci and see the connection. And at the end of study, I discovered acervo, a collection of the Brazilian cartilhas very, very near of me in the Library of Education University at Federal University in Rio Grande do Sul, with all these copybooks, but not digitalize it. And I take pictures of all of them and treat them and. Yes.
So your method is visual analysis. You have these resources and you compare them visually. Do the lines sort of match that?
Also, bibliographic research.
Well, I think if you want to study this, if I can tell you, I think you should go to the English school of teaching calligraphy, because they have a lot of, they are worried, in fact, with this of a long time. So you probably know the work of Rosemary Sassoon, which is, I suppose, more than 20 years old. So they have a long history of working with the subject, and I'm sure that they should have something about your country as well.
Thank you.
Any other comments, questions? Fabio?
Sandro, Edna, Guilherme, parabéns. Towards the end of your talk, you started to say that we should propose a new writing model for primary schools. Can you elaborate that a bit more? Have you considered how that would look like? What would you look at it? For example, as far as I know...
Not in English. I can elaborate in Portuguese, but not in English. Well, we study a lot about this, and basically from Steve Morrison, from Monotype, and Edward Johnston, and Alfred Fairbank, and Rosemary Sassoon, a lot of calligraphers and type designers. Well, I hope that I can do this job. That is, I will fight with this. Sorry, I can elaborate too much in English.
In fact, I think that he is in the beginning of his research for the doctorate, which has that. So I'm sure that you understand that he's not able to speak very much about it in Portuguese as well. And as his advisor, I can assure you that he doesn't know yet how to do it. But he's going to do, because he is a very tough guy.
Amazing. Yes. Obrigado. Valeu, Sandro.
Are you aware of the work that Hans Eduard Meyer did for the Swiss school handwriting?
Swiss school and handwriting, Escola Suíça.
Sorry.
No.
You are not aware of it?
No.
fact,
I think he did a very good job in translating what the works of Fairbank to modern writing, and he went to the same struggle that in Switzerland they had the same loop script,
yes.
which is obfuscating the letter forms, and he managed to come up with an alternative model, which is now widely accepted. It's not a new standard, but it is widely accepted in Switzerland. There's websites on this. That's I think that's worthwhile looking at it.
Thank you.
Yeah, because it's not only the English that do these things.
Oh, sorry to say that, but it's the English that I know.
I know some studies from I have some copybooks from German, and I know some study from Iceland, I think.
Iceland, yes.
Yes. It's very nice study. Yes.
So you'll have to come to Reading at some point to look at Rosemary's stuff. Yeah. A question, what is the Brazilian attitude to inclusivity and diversity in children? How many people here are left-handed? Yes, power.
How many of you
Because-
from dyslexia?
Because left-handedness was one of the factors that killed formal training for writing at schools.
Do you need read what Cratchy
No,
write about left-handers?
I tell you, I don't remember, but my point is that often good intentions produce unintended consequences. And in the last 20-odd years, the educational attitude, at least in the UK, has been that every child is worthy in their own way. So if you write with your left hand, that's equally valid and worthy of celebration of what you write as if you're right-handed. So my generation that suffered as left-handers were now accepted. If you, however, accept the right of a child to write with their left hand, but you do not have a formal way of teaching them how to write legibly, but you still teach the right-handed children, when their exams time comes, then you have discriminated against the left-handed children. Therefore, it is easier to say everybody in their own way in how they write is equally worthy. So in your efforts to include all the children better, you actually undermine the practice of teaching penmanship, because you want to do justice to the left-handed children and the children that have problems with writing and so on. A generation or two later, nobody can write legibly, especially because they type too much anyway. But that means that people like you who have this very well-meaning challenge ahead of them not only have the challenge in education, but have an institutional thinking to counter that has to build again from scratch the argument for the merits of good penmanship. And I'm saying it's a worthwhile argument, but I think that the mountain you have to climb is quite substantial. And yes, you're almost swimming against the trend, the political trend.
Yes.
Him.
I'm not sure if I can talk about this in English, but I will try. Okay. Nowadays, the primary public school in Brazil is under the constructivism method, and this policy, it's about free the children to construct your own knowledge in self-based. So they are against to any kind of model. It's a big problem to my study. Why can I propose a new model if the policy is against the models? So a big question. And in this point of view, it's very free to left-handers or to right-handers. And the personal writing, it's not very important, you know. And we have terrible personal letters. And as me, I think it's not a good from our personality. I wish I have to a nice letter, but I don't have. And so this is the way.
I think one argument, for adults to have a good letter, in fact, is the time that they have to spend to write an answer in a concourse. There are many. They have what they call vestibular, which is the examinations to get into the university studies. And they just don't do the thing well because they are not trained to write by hand. So what happens is that those people who are interested in getting better future for their children, to get better future for their children, I think we have to attack them. And perhaps I think he has now to think about the left-handers in his work. I'm not sure he's going to be happy. I'm not sure that he's going to be happy with that addition. But, I think it's not a question. People are thinking how easy it is to teach them what they call block letters. But we know that and even so, they choose IL as a model, because it's a model, isn't it? And I think that many people over here would think that's not so good as they think. If not, it's Comic Sans. That I'm not going to discuss Comic Sans because I think it's not fair to Comic Sans. Since the use is worse than the design. It's not that question, but it's used. So I think he's getting into a very strong struggle to get something better for our children. And I would like you to pray for him. That's
we have another from North America here today. No?
North America?
No one from North America? Yeah. Nowadays we have in the U.S. Some states of U.S. are not obligated obliged to teach the cursive script.
That just was announced. I think it was Finland was the last country to announce that they're not going to be teaching cursive letters in school anymore. That was just like 2 weeks ago.
Sorry?
Finlandia desistiu.
Has, I think, stopped teaching cursive letters.
Cursive, yes. Yeah. It's a pity. But at the same time, we have a great movement about the cursive script in U.S. I can remember now the name of this movement, and we have a very actual studies about the neurological implications without the cursive script, with the print script. So, and nowadays in Brazil, we have a similar situation, because with the constructivism, the first model is the print script based on Arial, and the cursive script survive with the efforts of the teachers, with the familiar connection with the cursive script. And Tony DeMarco is here? No? Yesterday I saw in the primary teaching blog, they are hunting a pirate copy from the Beabá font, and because the teachers do they their own copybooks to teach the kids, because the constructivism doesn't like this, the copybooks or the exercises, repetitive exercises with a model. So this is the scenario.
Are you saying that they are looking for the font
From Tony De Marco.
from Antonio de Marco in order to do their own material?
Yes.
Oh, that's a good idea, because his handwriting, at least. But what I think it's a contradiction, because in one way there is a strong element of a liking of calligraphy today. When I was, and I'm sure that many people of my age here, like Claudio Fernal, in my time, calligraphy was something so bad that no modernist could one day like it. And now we love it, isn't it? So that, I'm sure that, I'm not sure, I wish I was sure. I hope that the idea of a beautiful letter, personal letter, would let people to understand the liberty of having a good handwriting of your own. Doesn't matter, he says that he's horrible, but it's his. I think it's terrible you don't have your own handwriting to sign your documents and to write a note for your butcher.
Albert Jan.
Thank you. I think when we talk about this, we have to be careful about the term cursive script, because I have the experience that in Germany, also the pointed flexible nib writing, what you call copperplate in your presentation, is the one thing that is taught, and the other thing is print script. And the German teachers are not aware about people like Fairbank or Palatino. There is no tradition, handwriting tradition, teaching handwriting tradition at primary schools that uses these models. And so we are getting these funny things, funny messages that in the Switzerland handwriting is abandoned, and that's not true. What in Switzerland is the case is that Meyer proposed to introduce a new handwriting model based on what we know as Fairbank or broad-nib writing, but then with a single stroke width. And they abandoned the Schnürli-Schrift, which is this connecting thing. And I think that when you abandon the pointed flexible nib and the pressure, then there is no need for putting the pen on the paper all the time. It is not helping you anyway, because L and E, it's getting the same when you speed up your writing. So, and I think when we talk about this, then we have to make very much clear in our wording what we mean and what we want to do, because most people are not aware of anything else, that there is anything else than print script, which is of course not printed, and connected loop script. That's I think we have to take care about this, because these messages that in Finland there is no handwriting anymore, it is not true. Of course they learn handwriting, but they do not learn the connected script anymore, which is okay, I think. There is no use for connecting script. And one thing I wanted to.
You have to hurry up.
Yeah. But I don't think there is a contradiction between penmanship and left-handed. I have left-handed students amongst my best students. You don't see a difference between left-handed and right-handed. It's.
I will say thank you very much for concluding the day in a very constructive way. I'll have to recap and also say a very warm thanks to our translators back in the booth. who did an amazing job dealing with all of us. I was making sure trying to recap the day because it was a long day and we spent a lot of time here and considerable effort. And I thought, what did we get out of this thing? And the questions I noted down, I thought we're looking at sort of the relations of research and practice. And Claire and Marianne opened this. And then Pedro and Miguel were talking about knowledge generation and capture and how do we document what we know and how do we communicate it with our peers or with a wider community. I made notes about the challenges of adapting our educational programs and devising new ones. Simon and Dogan talked about this, that respond to a very fast changing set of conditions, which especially for people like us who are in education and are on at most an annual schedule of change, a world that changes every few months becomes a perpetual challenge. And especially if you think of the programs that were described that might be 3 or 4 years long, you cannot change very easily a program halfway through and change what the students are experiencing. So the educator's challenge faces difficulties that did not exist, I think, 20 years ago. We now have this sword over our heads. We had a series of talks, Fernanda, Irmi, about identity and the tension between globalism and regionalism and localism and how cultures adapt to these tensions. And I think identity is something that is a recurring theme in design, especially as people are trying to figure out how do you express creativity through this. The education in school ages. This is something that is a relatively new thing in ATypI education talks. And it was very nice to hear Enrique and Edna and Sandro talk about school age education from also a typographer's perspective, because we think we do bring different skills into this. And the bigger question again about the tension between creativity and self-expression and function. Anna and Pablo and Eliana and Nelson and Cassie were talking about these issues in ways that I think we face in different ways, all of us, in how we run projects at different levels with students. So I don't think the job is done. If we've done the job well, actually, then we will feel that we have more questions at the end of the day than we had at the beginning, and we might have ideas about new things to bring to next year's conference, and hope to hear updates from people's research projects and what's going on. So I do thank you very much for your patience and perseverance during the day, and for all our speakers for their efforts, and the organizers and helpers who dealt with dodgy IT.